Welcome to our new global media talk show. Is today is October 12, 2025. Today we're gonna be discussing about the states of governance in the Gambia from 2021 to present. We were anticipating to have Kemo Fati as our guest today, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So we will schedule him for another time. But I have my co-host here, full house today. I have Sam Sise from Indiana. Sam, welcome. I have Osman E. Kamara from the Gambia. Osman,
Oh,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And then we are fortunate to have Mfamara in the house, Mfamara Drame from Maryland, Washington. Mfamara, welcome. Okay, so I think we can
Thank you,
just.
Dr. Sawaneh. Thank you, Sam.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while. I've been so busy when I came back from Gambia, but thank God I'm slowly getting back.
Yeah, I mean, usually we know how that feels when you come from
Yeah.
the Gambia. You find a lot of stuff ahead of you. All right, so without wasting much time, our guest wasn't able to make it, so we're gonna just jump in. I think we have full house. We can digest this topic deeply, so I think we can just jump into it. So the state of the governance in the Gambia, 2021 to present, since after the election. There are a lot of things happening in the country, and of course, some of these things are very important, especially having this election ahead of us, 2026, which was to determine which some of these things are determining factors who's going to be elected in the office. Is the present regime doing so well that they need to be voted in the office again, or should we have change? This is what is the debate that is going on, and we have seen recent development with some political parties like UDP, and of course, new political parties emerging. So everybody is talking about good governance. So this is an opportunity for us to highlight some of the things that we think is going right and some of the things we think need changes. So I have my co-host here, Sam. If you wanna, take the lead on this.
Yes, I can. Well, thank you, and Dr. Sawaneh, and thank you, Farmer. Thank you, Osman Kamara. It's good to see you all today, for sure. It's always good to talk about the past coming into the present. So from 2021 to present, that the question for every single person, and I think everybody will have their own answer depending on what they look at. If we ask ourselves from 2021 to now, what have we seen in the Gambia that is a significant change that's good for Gambia? And what has been something that is not good for Gambia? So if we all look at this, everybody will have their own answers. But to look at it from the perspective of the president, I would say that President Barrow lost a lot of opportunities, because if I were him from 2021, knowing that 2016 election, he was nominated as a flag bearer and elected as a president under the coalition government, right? Under the coalition, which actually ended up, I would say that ended up collapsing, in other words, with the starters of the coalition government all separating in, a lot of dissociation there. So 2021 was a key milestone that the president should have taken advantage of and say to himself, you know what? All the things that the coalition government put together from 2016 have not been done. So let me take advantage of this at 2021 after elections to really focus on what's good for Gambia. If you look at all the things that should have been that should have happened from the coalition government that didn't happen, Barrow should have jumped on those and made them happen. For example, security reform, right? Security reform. Up to now, we haven't seen any significant change in the security reform. You go to healthcare reform, we haven't seen anything. You go to the constitutional reform, what have we seen? The same constitution failed. The draft constitution that was put together 2020, that was the voice of the Gambians, failed to pass in the National Assembly. Then they brought another 2024 draft constitution that also did not pass, of course, with all the changes that they put in there. Now, if you look at the cost of living in the country and all the reforms that were put together as necessities that should have happened or that should happen for Gambia to be able to move forward, we didn't see them happening. The one major project that I saw in the Gambia is the OIC project that created that big Button Hardin Highway being built. That's one major project that I can see that all Gambians can say, yeah, this one was a good road. Even that has its own flaws, but at least we have a better road than what most of our roads are. So what that brings to me as a Gambian, and every Gambian is entitled to their rights and they have their own opinion. Everyone is entitled to your own opinion. The question is, knowing that there was no security reform, no constitutional reform, no healthcare reform, Janet Commission, what happened to all those assets, JAMIS assets and all this stuff. And then on top of that, now we're in 2025, just a year before 2026 elections, we're hearing about all these millions and even billions of Gambian dalasi missing in our country, and no one has been put in prison for this, or no one is being held accountable for this. What do we think? If we ask Gambians today, like I said, everybody has the right to their opinion. In my opinion, 2026, we need a change. We cannot continue on the same path that we are on that led us to where we are today, because we have not made that significant progress. We have not made any significant contribution to the lives of the people. And people vote for a president with the intention that this president will come and change our lives. Well, have lives of the people changed? The majority of Gambians. I'm not talking just the presidential supporters. I'm talking the majority of the Gambians. Has the cost of living been better? The answer is, to me, the answer is no. Have we improved our infrastructure? When we say infrastructure, I know most people will think about roads for infrastructure, but roads are one of many that involve infrastructure, because our healthcare system is an infrastructure. Our airport is our infrastructure. Our power plant, electricity and water supply, telecommunication, all of these are part of our infrastructure. Our school system is part of our infrastructure, because if you have an investor from overseas that wants to invest in the Gambia and ask how is the infrastructure, they want to know about security of our country. How is security laid out in the country? How is the justice system in our country? How is our telecommunication system in the country? How is the healthcare system? Because when they bring their families, they need to be able to get immediate care when they go to a hospital and get all the necessities and the basic healthcare needs. If they think about all that, water supply, electricity supply, you think about all that, has they improved? Are they good? Absolutely not. So I'm going to try to cut this here and then allow others to talk as well. But before I get into the details, but I think looking at it overall, 2026 is time for change. It's time that every Gambian should say, you know what? We cannot go to business as usual. We need real change that's going to bring change to Gambian lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, for that in-depth analysis of what has happened since 2021 and up to now in terms of good governance. So we're gonna switch to gears to Usman Ikamara. If you can just give your 2 cents on that as well.
Oh, thank you so very much, Doctor. Thank you. And of course, I wish to thank Sam for taking us through some of the challenges that, in his opinions, are impeding good governance in the Gambia. I wish to acknowledge the circumstance and the challenges that we are confronted with as a country. And of course, it is our collective responsibility to challenge it as well, because it's only when we confront the situation then we can able to address it as a nation. However, I also wish to add on that governance can always be looked at it from a very high level, or especially in a general perspective, considering what constitutes a government is not the executive alone. We need to understand that governance constitutes a collective responsibility, starting from the executives, that is the president and his cabinet, coming down to the, of course, the legislative body, that is the National Assembly. You come down to the judiciary, that is the interpretation of the law and all the other stuff. Now, considering in terms of the institutions that are responsible in ensuring we feed, or we feel, or we experience that good governance that we believe should be addressed or should be champions. The National Assembly, which of course is the legislative body, if they play their part, I think that will be a key tool or a catalyst for us to enjoy, or for us to, for us to experience that high level of good governance that we aspired for. In the area of the judiciary, I think we need to acknowledge the fact that since from 2021 to date, we have experienced high level of confidence in the judicial system. And I think that is an area for commendations. The loopholes or the challenges must be admitted if we want to move as a country. And then those responsible for good governance, or those responsible for leadership, moving this country forward, and then, and demonstrating, or for us to champion and enjoy that democratic dispensation that we feel it is, of course, is growing bigger and bigger. The institutions that are responsible, or that should be responsible, need to play their part. From 2021, since Jammeh left office, we also in a coalition government until 2020. Then 2021, we set in an NPP government. What I think where they succeeded in terms of reforms is the National Assembly being independent, and National Assembly, they tend to have that latitude, or that freedom, or that space where they can able to debate freely without any threat from anybody. I also wish to acknowledge this particular part, that is in the area of the judiciary. We can at least now have confidence that this executive from the past, what we experience, the executive keep manipulating the judicial system. With the recent development, or with the recent tax on the government has given that fundamental basis of freedom for the legislature, or for the judiciary, to exercise their power within the confine of the law, and which is of course quite remarkable and encouraging in my perspective. We cannot say the nature or the manner in which the government is going, or the nature in which the governance is going, is 100%. We must accept the lapses that the government is experiencing, or the government is what is confronting the government. We must admit that, because nobody will ever accept when things are not right. We have heard and we have seen the report from the audit office, and I think it is the incumbent on the government, especially the executive, to ensure that they work really hard, so that all those that are found wanting, they, of course, they face the law. But neglecting or giving a blind eye to some of those circumstances, or some of those problems, it is only signals the weakness, and of course the let's use this deliberately. The government is not demonstrating high level of competency, or the government is not demonstrating high level of preparedness or readiness to combat corruption in this country. And I think they can do that, because the institutions are right there. The judiciary is right there, which of course has improved significantly. because to take you, history has recorded clearly. Makumba Jete, a former NAM for an independent NAM, at some point in time, took the government to court. What happened? He won the case. What is that demonstrating? There is, of course, high level of confidence, and there is a high level of accountability now coming in, which is, of course, okay with me. So I think where the government need to improve is, of course, the executing functions of punishing the corrupt, or punishing the lawbreakers, or punishing the wrongdoers. I think that's where the government need to improve. But I also need to acknowledge the fact that in the area of the judiciary, I must commend them. They are improving. That is okay. In the area of the legislature, I must commend them on that part. But in the area of the blatant manipulation or mismanagement of funds, that part need to be corrected, and I think that need to be corrected now. How will it be corrected? Is but the President Barrow and, of course, any institution responsible need to start acting moving forward. If not, it was not good for the country. I will come back again. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Usman, you too have mentioned very important points in addition to Sam's area. So we'll have Famara come in and also add his 2 cents. Famara.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sawaneh, and thank you, Osman, for that brilliant contribution. Obviously, just like Osman says, in governance, obviously, there are areas that the current government is doing very well, and we must have to commend them for that. And then there are areas that actually need improvement from 2021 coming on. As we all know, 2026 was a coalition government. There were a lot of things that needs to be regulated, that needs to come on board. So many policy reforms have been drafted or put in place, but we have not seen meaningful progress in 2026. So we thought 2021 was a good opportunity, having an MPP government in place headed by President Barrow, who used to be the coalition president as well. So 2021 was a great opportunity for him. Like Sam highlighted, like some of the reforms that we cannot do from 2026 to 2021, to use that opportunity and then capitalize on those things and then get them done, because that we
I think his network, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, your network or your voice keep going in and out.
Yeah, it's kind of cracking from my side too. I don't know whether it's my side or maybe
Are you on a speaker?
Yeah.
yeah, it's cracking here too as well. So I'm not sure whether it's my side or not.
Yeah, it's a speaker maybe. Are you on a
But just to
speaker?
make it quick, like I was saying, 2021, yeah, it's a great opportunity for the president.
Sorry, doctor. I'm not sure. His analyses are quite interesting for the public to hear, but the connection is breaking. So I'm not sure it is okay for the public. I don't know what is really happening from this end. Mr. Drame, your voice
Mr. Drame,
is not good.
can you go in and come out again?
Yeah, maybe he tried that.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Okay, continue. Let's see, please.
All right. Yeah. Just to make it quick, I just want to say the 2021 the president has done a lot. Usman mentioned about the judiciary, and which we have seen is happening. Cases are going very fast, and then there is nothing like foreign judiciary, because I've seen that transformation a lot. Gambians, we have the Gambian judges taking care of court cases, and then dealing with them.
Yeah, can you hear us? Yeah, I think it's where is that? Maybe Bamara. Okay, Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud
Yeah,
and
I
clear.
think yeah, I think where he's at. Yeah, signal problem. All right, so
Yeah.
we continue. Famara will join us later. So basically, you guys have touched very interesting points. The goods of this government, and of course the shortcomings. So the goods are maybe the legislative part in terms of judiciary, like like um like Usman has mentioned, the cases of Yakum Bajete and other Bora and other areas where uh, the legislation, I mean the judiciary has overturned what the executive wants or what they're trying to do. So we have to really be proud of that. Now, the other area, of course, people might disagree on this, but some infrastructural development, especially in the rural areas, were also notable, uh, even though they probably might be elephant projects or might be politically motivated. But these are things that are actually been taking place, and then which is also commendable. As far as like in terms of human rights abuse, there are sentiment, the way the police are doing their jobs, especially on certain recent activities that happened in terms of the death of the young guy in the hands of the police, and of course with the protesters. So those are also arguably debatable whether we have really get to the threshold of freedom of expression or freedom of assembly the way we wanted it since 2021. So maybe that is an area that needs improvement as well, because the police need to know that the citizens are part of them and they are part of the citizens, and of course they have there are limitations as to how they can use force to tackle certain situation. Instead, certain things need dialogue, certain things need engagement, certain things need to be handled differently, especially when those protests or those interactions are not violently this thing displayed. So these are all things that are important for us to analyze. And again, Sam also mentioned about some of the expectations that we were looking for in terms of this government have not been met. The cost of food, the prices of things in the country, the exports of our own goods to outside world. We become a consumer instead of actually producing to actually help us with our foreign exchange and so forth. And of course, some of the things when it comes to the audit report. I mean, like, of course, if both of you touch on that you cannot go without touching, because that is an area that is the biggest challenge. We have seen the auditor has been taken out of office just because the president chooses to replace him by giving him an incentive to be a minister, while the auditor felt he was doing a better job being an auditor general at that position. So we have seen that is definitely an area that has been functioning very well under Momodou Sisso's leadership, and a lot of things came out, especially the rice businesses of president's own cousin, which was also exposed by the audit analysis. So you name a lot of things that the timber deal and other things that are happening that are contrary to what we thought we would be experiencing by now. So in nutshell, what you guys have analyzed is that there are some goods of this government since 2021, but there are a lot more things that were not good. And then Usman mentioned one thing also, which is the fact that there are good laws, especially with the anti-corruption bill and other laws, but who is implementing them? The implementer in chief actually is sitting on the fence. You know, he doesn't want to touch any bone. He doesn't want to touch any meat flesh. He just want to sit down and enjoy the popularity, because I don't want to hurt Mr. So. I don't want to hurt Mr. So for political reasons. So the implementer in chief is not implemented. So if he's not implementing those laws, what are they used for them? We can bring good ideas on the table, but there are no use for those ideas if nobody is the implementer in chief, who will have a team of people who will make sure that those laws are put into actions. So I think those are the reasons why we are experiencing some of the setbacks in terms of development. The populace, they are not feeling, we're not feeling what is actually happening. It's like your economy is good, but nobody's feeling it. Or well, the economy is stupid, like Al Gore said, but nobody's is feeling it. If you're not feeling it, then it is not happening. So all these things can be good on paper, but we have to feel it. So this is the reason why it is important for somebody to be in charge and making sure what is recommended applied across the board without fear or favor. So I think those are the things that you guys mentioned. Just to sum it up, and Famara is back. I will let him just finish up, and then we can ask questions, further. Famara, I think you are good now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just quickly, I was saying the president was doing a lot from 2021 to now, and part of that Usman mentioned was about the judiciary sector, the performance we have seen our judges, because no more we relying on the foreign judges now. Our own Gambian judges are now taking charge, and then we've seen them delivered. You know, they are delivering, and then they are handling cases as they come. Even though we still have a backlog of cases at the High Court that needs to be handled, but we have seen significant progress in that area. And then, to one of the biggest benchmark for this current administration is the reason why we came together to make a change in 2016, which the president is lacking behind a little bit, or this administration lacking about, because the security sector, we have seen how much money has been, pumped in that to make a good security sector reforms. I know that's still lacking behind, considering the amount of resources that have been put in place. That has not been done. Efforts have been done to have a constitution in place that also failed, simply because one of few things that is in the constitution that the executive is trying to push, with the other side, and especially the National Assembly, did not have the majority to push that. I think those are the benchmarks that we can determine whether the president has done a lot or not. Okay. Of course, infrastructural development, no doubt about that. Even though that was not something that, it's a big thing that people can see that we have make a change from dictatorship to our current leadership. But we have seen a lot of infrastructural development, and no doubt about that. Roads are being constructed everywhere in the country, in the rural area. We have seen electrification going on. We have seen a lot of, development going. Even the University of the Gambia, we have seen a transformational change, in this last few years. So these are all very good, but the key and the fundamental, points that we can talked about is the reforms. That is why we make a change in 2016. And that's why we selected President Barrow as the flag bearer for the coalition, because we're hoping that we're going to have a new constitution by now, considering the fact that some of the bad laws like the Public Order Act, and then all of those things are still in place. The security factor, we have just seen recently how the police were manhandling people protesting. These were all concerns before 2016 or in 2016. We are thinking that by now those reforms should have been done and completed, but they have not been done. But this is an area that the president need to focus on a lot, and then see that, we need a change. Whether there is time to do that within this 1 year, that's something that obviously I know the constitution is out of the way. I don't know how long it will take before it can be reintroduced again, maybe the next administration. But for the security sector, we want to see a speedy, a drive in that aspect. We want to see an update. They should be coming to tell us about security reform, not only giving us update at the National Assembly, or maybe the information minister coming up to the radio and TV talking about the progress they've done. We want to see a national update. We want to see those responsible for the security sector reforms to have panel discussions on the national platforms. Tell us what progress they have done so far. Where are we now? What have changed? Because there are small things that can be changed without wasting a lot of time and resources. They could simply change those security, bad laws that we have in our constitution or in our security sector. By now, the police should be fully equipped, in terms of handling protests. Our securities are doing a lot when they go outside the country for peacekeeping mission. Our police and the soldiers are being, praised for their efforts. But at home, we are not doing that good. Why? Because maybe the people out in the street, they don't have that knowledge. They don't have that skill and experience in handling crowd or crowd control. So maybe it is our mid-level or our high security officers, high-level security officers that goes out in peacekeeping, not the ones on the ground handling protests. So I think we need to change in that area. But communication is actually improving. We have to commend the government for that. We have seen since the Dr. Sise came as a Minister of Information, with the Bantaba coming to place, updating government institutions that were not happening before. We have to be writing. We have to be inquiring some certain information. We have also seen some laws like that has come recently. The cybersecurity department, also we also have the another institution that was created recently under the Ministry of Information. I forget about the name, but these are all achievement that has been done internally. So public sector reform is also happening, and we have also seen um, the Ministry of how do you call it? Not higher education, but civil service. We have also seen they have blocked so many ghost workers in the government system. They have recovered a lot of money that have been paid to ghost workers in the government system. They have blocked that that hole there. So that is also very high commendable. That's highly commendable. In the last few months or so. So that's area that we have to commend the president for as well. So now the big thing is the corruption. The president has to act on this one. He doesn't have to wait. As soon as auditor reports came out, something is available for them to act on, they have to do that, even if it's going to be suspending those officials until the fact is determined where it goes wrong. But the president have to act on those areas a lot, obviously. So 2021 to now is a big opportunity for the president to do things that were wrong in 2016 and get them done. And he doesn't have to be soft. Like Sawaneh is saying, if you want to do be too much maslaha, people will say that you are not being serious as a leader. You are turning a blind eye. So some of this corruption scandal that is happening. I mean, um, it shouldn't be difficult to act on those kind of reports that are coming in. Millions. We are not talking about millions now. We are talking about billions. That's too much to ignore. The president need to act a lot on that area. But so far so good. The infrastructural development, we have seen a big changes. Any new government that is coming up, you are only going to take it up from where they stopped or he stopped. You will continue from there. But obviously, the rural areas are seeing electrification now. The roads are going down, even though, like Sam said, some of those roads might be badly constructed. But here and there, at least, those are the things that we need to look at, where those funds have been reused, and make sure National Road Authority do their due diligence, because they're the one supervising all government road projects. If a contractor is giving money and they have not done their job properly, they should hold them accountable. They should hold them accountable because that's government resources, you know. So I think this is what I want to stop for now. But so far, so good. We have seen significant progress, but there is a lot to be done as well. And I think for the president to have a good legacy, some of those basic, issues needs to be sorted out. Thank you.
Thank you, Famara. Thank you. You've mentioned a couple of things there, Famara, also that are really, really worth looking at. But I would ask Sam to come in. I know he has something to add, and Usman as well, before we actually pinpoint some of the things because there are certain things that I want to really points that you guys mentioned that I want us to really elaborate on, just to give a in-depth analysis of those. But Sam,
Yep. So first, I want to thank Osman and Famara for their contributions, definitely, and you, Dr. Sawaneh. Um, you guys have gone into details of some things that I wanted to speak about later on, but like Osman said, and of course, government is the three branches of the government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Yes, we've seen some improvements. In my opinion, and the way I analyze things and the way I look at things is when a leader is put in place anywhere, expectations are set. When you meet those expectations, you've done your job, right? I don't want to overcommend and give people the wrong impression that the government is doing a great job when they're not. So, but I do want to commend the government when they go above and beyond. For example, if we say, people have to keep in mind, Gambia, since independence up to now, we've lost a lot. We are way behind time, right? We've had President Jawara came and did his part. He did a great job. Thanks to him. And we have Jammeh came in and did some as well. He did a lot of improvements. Thanks to Jammeh. Barrow came and did some good improvements as well. Thanks to Barrow. However, at the end of the day, where are we compared to countries that got independence the same time as Gambia? Where are we? We are way behind time, right? We are way behind time. So if for example, if we say, I like to give comment, in certain areas. For example, I'm going to give an example. For example, if we say in Gambia, Banjul Hospital, Serekunda Hospital, Bakau Hospital, and Brikama hospitals need ambulances. The ambulances are bad. They're in bad shape. Then the government turn around. We're expecting them to change and replace those ambulances. And they turn around and bought a brand new ambulance for every hospital in the country. Wow. That's when we will say, wow, they went above and beyond what we were expecting or what we were asking. All people were asking at that time was Banjul, Brikama, Serekunda, Bakau, Kanifing, Sukuta, for example, but they bought a brand new ambulance for all from the loans that they took. That will be above and beyond what we expected, right? So that deserves a lot of commendation for utilizing our funds, taxpayers' funds, and also all the loans that they got for the country to put it into very good use, which supports our healthcare. What I don't want to comment on is we put you in place to do this and you did it. That does not need a whole lot of recognition other than thank you for doing your job. Yes, thank you for doing your job. I don't want to send a mixed message to people. Yes, there are some, like I said earlier, there are road construction in our infrastructure part is happening in our country. And the biggest one was the Barton Harding Highway that I said. From what I mentioned, there's electricity going around in the country in some places, which we should have gotten 20 years ago, which is not Barrow's fault. I know all that. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you look at our country, I'm analyzing, looking at our country from independence to now, we can pass Jawara and Jammeh's time since we're talking in Barrow's time. And Barrow's opportunity was from 2016. 2016, coalition laid a foundation. They had an MOU. They want this, and that done. He didn't do that. Now, 2021, people voted and put him back in office to continue on. Like I said, that is a great opportunity from 2021 to quickly get all of those things done, since those were things that Gambians decided as a coalition. They decided these are things that we need. These are basics. We want the healthcare reform. We want constitutional reform. We want security reform. We want a comprehensive civil service reform. We want Janet Commission to be done on Jammeh's assets. Well, what happened? Jammeh's assets, where did they go? They are all over the place. Nobody knows where.
Right,
I won't say nobody knows,
that's a
but
big one.
Exactly. They're all over the place. So to me, the bad is more than the good. If you look at what the analyst said, President Barrow in this government took more loans than Jammeh and Jawara combined. He took more loans for Gambia in the name of Gambia than what President Jammeh and Jawara took. And if that happened, and if that's the case, then we'll look at what has been done in our country. Road construction is one. Yes, we mentioned that all the things that have been done, they've done. But in my mind, I think I have a right to my opinion. I think more money got wasted than what was spent on our country. When I say wasted, meaning disappeared, went into people's pockets, embezzled, misappropriation. I think more of our funds got lost than what was actually spent on our country or in our country from all the loans that were taken and all the taxes that were collected, all the taxes that should have been collected as well. If you think about that, we took one step forward and probably 3 steps backward. That's what happened. That's the way I look at it. So I would say President Barrow needs to do a lot more for the remaining time that he has. Yes, it is true. The judiciary section has done some things. Court cases are going on, and they are fairly treating people and fair judgment without the pressure from the executive and things like that. But at the end of the day, if I look at the National Assembly as part of the other branch of government, what have they accomplished? What have they accomplished? We had a very good constitution that came, and they threw it out. The 2020 draft constitution that the CRC went around the whole world pretty much and got the opinion of the people. They came in and brought it in. They threw it out because of certain interests. All right. And I don't know what good laws they've made. What changes have they made other than increasing their own pay, increasing their allowances? The judges got a pay increase. The president and his ministers got pay increase. And the taxpayers got price increase on rice and oil and flour and potatoes and onions, you name it. They're paying more. Is that fair to our people? That's what I look at as we're not going the right. We're going the wrong way. The taxpayers should have been benefiting from a good governance than the authorities. They all got brand new vehicles. National Assembly got brand new vehicles on top of all of that. Their benefits are better than what the people that elected the president are benefiting from. So that's why I said I don't want to commend. I would commend, but with limitations. I will commend and say thank you for doing the job that you do, but there's a lot more that could have been done, did not get done. And there's a lot more money that came to the Gambia that would have changed the Gambia totally. That went into some people's pocket. And the sad thing is, the taxpayers are still struggling. They're still struggling to feed their families. When the rich are getting richer and building story buildings, driving nicer cars, you can see a new minister come to a place and see a car that he doesn't like because it's been used. He wants his own. I mean, what a waste. What a wasteful way of spending taxpayers' money. A poor country like Gambia. So this is the way I look at things. So that's my analysis. And like I said, anything that was done, that is the expectation. They expect, we put them in there to do that. So I'm not going to thank them for doing what they're supposed to be doing, because that's why they're there, right? If they go above and beyond, I want to say, nice job. That's a nice job. Thank you for doing that. But at the end of the day, again, it's 3 parts government. But for the most part, if you look at it, this government is centrally controlled by the executive branch. They are controlled by the executive branch. Since National Assembly couldn't do things on their own, the judiciary is better. They are doing much better job than before. But we shouldn't have things like people dying in the hands of the police because of police brutality. So what happened to the security reform and things like that? There's so I think the president had the opportunity, and I'm almost going to say is a missed opportunity from 2021 to now. He could have had a better legacy. They could put he could do better with his people and have a better legacy than what he has. The advisors that he has and people working for him, allowing all this corruption, all this embezzlement, all these billions of Gambian dollars missing, and still not a single person arrested for it. That's bad for his legacy. No matter what else he did, people are going to remember that during Barrow's legacy, he borrowed more money than Jammeh and Jawara combined. And we haven't seen that much in improvement. So that's what I wanted to add to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I mean, I think you really, gave us a lot more on this area. Now, Usman, if you can just, add it whatever missing part we have, so that the farmer can come in, and then we can
Yes,
just.
thank you, Doctor, and of course, thank you, Sam Sise. Famara, thank you as well. I think Sam Sise has highlighted significant part, and which of course need to be considered as genuine in his submission. And we also need to commend him for touching some salient areas that I think the government from the executive branch, they need to start working firmly in ensuring that if they want to leave a fine legacy that we ought to remember them for, I think the executive should start acting now. Now, I must comment farmers the area of challenges that he believes or that we believe the government is lacking. And I think the government need to work on that part. That is in the area of recommendations coming from, recognized institutions. For example, that is the audit office. Now we understand that at some point in time, Ministry of Infrastructure was at one point through Ibrahim Asila. He came out to reject the reports from the audit office, and we have heard that, and then how that has gone far, that is something that is also debatable, because the minister vehemently rejected the audit, what is they reported and how it is done. The minister has rejected that. But however, what I will of course commend the government to do more is the area of implementations on the corrupt and people that are not genuine, and they are of course within the ranks of the government. They are of course undermining the good work, or they are undermining the good legacy that the government want to leave behind. If the government, or this especially the executive, leave those loopholes to continue happening, obviously we expect more problems to prevail. And I think that's what we are confronted with. In as much as we expect people to work for the country, of course, the beautiful land of the Gambia, but what we are experiencing is that funds are not used in the right way. And once funds are not used in the right way, then the blame will come back to the executive. And who is in charge is the president. So what I think this executive, because what we understand from our level is that whatever happened, no matter how you coin it, at the end of the day, it will all come back to the president. Even though the president will appoint people to take care of that particular institution or to take care of that particular function, even though those people don't do their part, what comes back is that we blame the executive for not doing their job. And you don't blame us for saying that, because we felt that you are the one that employed him or her. So if the person is not doing the right job, I think you should prosecute that individual. And if that tend to start happening, if that we start to experience that, I think that would be good, because it is only prosecution that can of course that can solve some of the frustration that we are facing, or that the country is facing. Now we must commend. I have to commend the Minister of higher education, research, and technology. I have to commend him for a beautiful job that he's doing. I cannot actually give a blind eye to that because since he came into power, a lot of money has been invested. The money his ministry was given to do the needful, he's doing that. And then what I like about the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Per Gomez, is that he always give a deadline for functions or to be work to be done. And that is what every serious worker or every serious civil servant or a minister should be doing. If you are given a task to execute, give yourself a timeline that I want to do this within this range. But you are given the money and we don't know where the money is going. So when that happens, what comes to mind that they have embezzled the resources? And that is of course not the interest of the country, or that is not the interest of the government, this executive in particular. So if you are given a tax and you are not executing the tax properly, and of course I would recommend this from today. I know of course the executive is fully aware of this, but they should start actually firing and of course executing, or what do you call, prosecuting the wrongdoers. If you really want to leave a good legacy, we cannot actually leave any stone unturned in prosecuting people or prosecuting officials that are not doing right. We commend the government sincerely on the area of infrastructure, which is of course going fine. Expansion of electrification going fine. The judiciary, I have to commend. Now, some highlighted the legislature. And then I think I will, of course, agree with Sam on that part. Um, One thing we need to understand is that the legislature is, of course, a branch that, of course, they came into power through elections. All right, is the people that trusted them to be in power. They didn't come by the executive. It's only a few nominations or nominated members that are right there through the executive, but majority of them are right there through the people. So they owe the people. And then if you owe the people, you should be accounted by the people. And then you ought to not understand that you cannot do something that is, of course, not on the interest of the people. So the people need to start challenging them, because on the area of the increment of their salaries, the vehicle purchase and other stuff, the clothing allowance and anything that of course is related to them or that of course benefit them directly is not a problem. There is what you call unanimous agreement all the time. So I think moving forward, what I would recommend is the people that voted them in, if they come back to the people again, I think we should just booted them out from office. I think that's all I would recommend on that part moving forward. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, man. You guys have given a lot, for our audience. So let's have Pamara come in, and then we're gonna go to some of these important points before we end the show that I highlighted here, that you guys have spoken about, just to be on the same page and agree that those areas needed to be needed to be worked on, or perhaps needed to be commended for the good governance that this government has done. Because again, we are here to critique, but at the same time, we are also here to applaud. But however, Sam mentioned something. There must be a threshold. If it is unexpected things to do, and you do that, okay, you're not gonna get fired. If you do go above expectation, kudos to you. That's, you get a recognition. If you fall under, of course, we're considering to fire you. That's how the system works here in the West, of course. But I can let Mpamara come in, and then I can go back with the points that we noted here. Mpamara.
Thank you. My mentor Steve Harvey says, if you want to measure success, you don't only look at how far you are to the goal you set up for yourself, but you look at how far you came from and where you are. So for us to measure the success of this government is we have to measure from where we came from. That's all the way back in 2016. Of course, we cannot forget about 2021 to now. But we look at where we came from 2016. So that's when you can tell whether you have been successful or not. And in this stage, obviously, we know that a lot needs to be done, that we are away from our goal, but we have also achieved some certain aspect. Now, when it comes to ministry specific, we talk about the judiciary, yes, and the arm of the government, and of course the National Assembly, of course as well, you know, and the other ministries Osman mentioned, um, higher education, and I think if we have to give performance evaluation to all these government institutions, we will say that Ministry of Higher Education probably get 8 out of 10, in terms of meeting their target, because we have actually we don't I don't know how much money is given to them, but looking at the progress of the ministry in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of creating other units within the ministry, they have actually performed a lot. And the biggest weakness of this government is corruption. And reason why President Barrow is not firm on correction is because he himself has been implicated in corruption scandals. And for us to be, to be convinced that he is actually serious about corruption, is handling his own office. And then what happened in 2026 that we have seen, that has been, done at the office of the president, we have not seen the president doing much about it. Okay? Because if he cannot hold himself accountable and his office accountable, then he will not be able to hold other government institutions doing the same. Because we have seen the Ministry of Tourism, we have seen the millions that they have signed contract with a contractor to build eco lodges in the provinces. All of those eco lodges projects have failed. We have seen even some of them were set on fire recently. And the National Assembly took a step to actually scrutinize or assess the progress of that contract, and then they have written their report. And it has also reflected in the audit report, but still the president did fail to take action on the Minister of Tourism and Honorable Hamad Ba. The reason best known to him. Minister of Fisheries, we have seen that the Gambians are starving. We are saying our marine resources is not being very useful to us because fish is getting expensive every day. And the yet government is keep giving license to foreign trawlers to fish in our waters. We have also seen unchecked, of these fish meal factories operating in Combo South, what they are doing to our marine resources. We have also seen international or foreign trawlers that are caught in our waters, and instead of following the right procedure, they have been negotiated at the ministry level how much they are going to find them, and those monies have not been able to be traced in our in our system. So where is that money going? Where is the Minister of Fisheries and his officials doing with the money that has been levied on these trawlers as fines? We have not seen it. And the audit report have also mentioned about this millions of dollars which could have gone into our health sector, could have gone into our agriculture. Millions of dollars did we spend on our only national stadium, and still we cannot get it right to be recognized by the African Federation of Football or African Federation of African Football, CAF. We still cannot pass that check, despite hundreds of millions of dollars he invested in that. So that also cannot pass under the eyes of the President Barrow. And he himself visited that stadium. They assured him that everything was going to go fine when it's done, and it's never been done. What is the president doing about that? What excuse does he have to tell us why the stadium is not ready, despite millions of taxpayers' money gone into that? All right. So, and then, we have seen after the OIC was completed, all these luxurious vehicles that were bought with taxpayers' money, they are being distributed within the system. And then, of course, we still cannot account for some of the vehicles that were allocated. You know, what is the government doing about that? So you can go on and go on all these government institutions. You will realize that, obviously corruption is our biggest problem. And the government not doing anything about it, holding them accountable, is what is taking us back. And no wonder all of them are praising in that Barrow is a Cairo Barrow, is a Hino Barrow, because they know that he's not going to do anything to them. So praising him on that aspect is the only way they can cover up what they are doing, saying the president is very tolerant, the president is a very peaceful president, the most peaceful president, like Sabali always say, the most peaceful president in the whole world, like Sabali will say. You know? So
And then not
the
only that, but
oil
labeling the
scandal,
Gambia not only that, but
yeah,
labeling even Gambia as one of the fifth, I think fifth peaceful country in Africa or something like that.
in Africa, exactly, yeah. So all this oil scandal that has coming through, we heard about the central bank scandal. So there is a lot of scandal that President Barrow failed to address in our community. And then, like Sam said, the money he borrowed, these two past governments combined, I don't know where they put all the money, man. We could have seen a lot of changes, but all this money is gone. It's all about enrichment, because maybe they know the president is not going to hold them accountable. Nobody is going to tell them anything because they cover up each other. So in this point, I mean, Barrow has, done a little bit, but he has spent a lot, and we have not seen much development happening in our country, and that's the saddest part. So, and I doubt this 1 year left that he will be able to correct all these mistakes in 1 year. I doubt it, and I don't know whether he will be win in 2026 or not. If not, then he has left a bad legacy that we are going to talk about for a long time before we can get it rectified. Thank you.
Thank you. So to summarize, I just wanna, for the benefit of our audience here, you guys have really get analyzed almost everything, leaving on no stone unturned. Okay, well, I will start with the good ones. Good ones are so far that we agreed on our analysis. The fact that Barrow's government has really they have really invested in infrastructure. The way they have infrastructure have been done also is not only in the combo areas, but of course, beside the Birmingham Highway, they also have invested in the rural areas as well, and especially with the electricity and other development. So kudos to them on that. Of course, higher education. We have seen a lot of success in that ministry. Credit has to be going to the borough's government because, again, when somebody's under if they do good, of course, the leadership take that credit. Judiciary, even though borough's government, some of the outcome of the judiciary processes did not go their way, but they have to be commended because the judiciary has really been impartial in most of these cases, especially with Jakumba's case and other Mora's case and other cases. In terms of also like people have been seeing significant progress in terms of people's ability to not to be manhunted, and then their freedom also have been kind of protected in a way during this time because compared to the past. Now, these are some of the few things I can see on the side of the good ones that, unless I'm missing something, you guys can rectify me. Now, the only argument that we're having is that Sam said we have to measure not by expectation, and then Famara said we have to measure how far we came. So that those two measures are kind of different. So the success of like some of these things, how is measured, would be a little different because if you want expectation, yes, we want New Gambia 2021 to now to be like everything to be beyond our expectation. I mean, like that is really is hard to happen. But if you want to say how far we were, perhaps you probably, but in that case, Barrow can score a little bit points. So, but the thing that we haven't really elaborated is TRRC and the Janet Commission recommendations. They have failed to implement that as expected. Nothing has been done in that area yet. Now, some people can argue it's not too late for TRRC because that could take years before some of those things. But many people have lost their life now. Many people have died and they haven't seen justice. So it is a loss for them. If justice delayed is justice denied is justice delayed is justice denied. So since those justice have not been implemented in the presence of those people, then their justice has been denied. So they fail on that. They cannot have a good score on that. And of course, Janet Commission, we have seen what they did with that. They banned certain people, and when they need those people like Sabali and Jokoba and others, when they see that they need them for political reason, they tend to forgive them. So we see what happened there. So that was no good for this government when it comes to good governance. Constitution, you cannot go without saying that the executive has a hand in that. The failed 2020 constitution, they had a hand in that because that time National Assembly could have been easily passed if at all some of the MPs on the borough's support did not, deny that. And then they went and they manufactured their own constitution with a lot of advantage for the executive. And what ended up happening? The other side also said, no, this is not going to pass. So the blame game, you can blame the National Assembly, but the bulk of the blame will definitely fall on President Barrow's task. So good governance is lacking there as well. The increased payment in judiciary and other areas, and the MPs and luxurious cars, those are areas that we have seen haven't benefited our citizens, because if people cannot buy bags of rice, the hospitals are on supplies in terms of medical equipment and so forth. How can somebody be buying an expensive car that worth millions of dollars because they are MP or they are certain ministers and so that one the funds hasn't been managed properly as well. So the police brutality, again, this is a security reform that Sam was talking about. The areas and farmer, of course, the area of security if reform hasn't been where it's expected. Still, some of these like Mama mentioned, when we are abroad, we kind of do very well with the way our officers how they function. But when we are within our land, we kind of overdo things, and then sometimes it looks like our officers are not trained. Look at the young guy who died. They say that they were chasing him and he fell and then passed away, which was not really the truth. I mean, like the cases on the in the I'm pretty sure in the courts, but that cannot be founded truthful unless otherwise proven. So this police brutality we have seen with the protesters as well. Certain behaviors that have been implemented. I mean, that have been inflicted on these protesters were also not in accordance with the law. If you look at it properly, now we come to the area of the scandals and of course the audit report, audit findings. Most of these ministers are even denying some of the audit findings. But the president himself that this report is an opinion. Once he invalidate audit reports, that sends a bad signal. If you said these reports are just opinions, instead of prosecuting those outcomes, because those are factable outcomes that were found by professionals. So what you have to do is you have to investigate. If an audit report comes, investigate, and when people are found it, then you punish them by sending them to jail time or you depose them from their position. But we have seen this president bypassing that, and then instead he give promotion to those people because of political reason. So he failed when it comes to corruption. I think Farmer said, perhaps he's not. The president himself has been, implicated in some scandals, and then especially his family members. Of course, the guy selling the rice, importing the rice, and so other people. Perhaps that's the reason why he's not too firm on those. And this is some of the areas that needed to change, but the president fails to do that. So as we are going, and the Ministry of Fisheries, as Mpamara mentioned, the licenses are given to foreigners, and then nobody knows, why those people, what business do they have in the kind of doing fisheries, on our deep seas. And now, even if these people are being fined, nobody's seeing those monies. We don't see, and then those monies are not being shown, and then where they have been spent. So that shows a deep corruption in our system as well. So when it comes to the other things like in the stadium, the Independence Stadium, the stadium was a lot of money have been poured in that stadium to meet international standards to do games there. We have seen the Ministry of Sports saying that the standard as is good, but at the end of the day, they still haven't been given the pass for that for those games to take place there. Where did the money go? And the president himself went there to see. So these are some of the things. Of course, the vehicle from the OIC. First of all, it was very, very naive and senseless to spend that much money on vehicle for an occasion that is just few days, and not thinking about what you're gonna do with those vehicles. You could have rented them, you could have done other things, but instead they went and purchased, I think, over 100 vehicles. I don't know actually the numbers, and what ended up happening. Nobody knows tangibly where they put those money. I mean, whether they distributed among themselves or another departments, whatsoever. So what Sam says, the combination of Jame and Jawara's depth. Baro it has more depth combined, Jawara and Jame, which is so sad. You're talking about 50 years, because Jawara was about 30 years, and then Jame was 50 years, and Baro was just 10 years. So if 10 years can double can overcome 50 years of ruling in terms of debt, then we are finished. We can just literally say financially, or when it comes to economics, we are finished, because we can't. Our unborn children cannot pay Gambian people's debt. So Barrow has put us in a hole. God knows, only divine intervention we can get ourselves out in years to come. So just to analyze and sum up, and again, just to be fair to Barrow and his governance, we have to say good things has been done, like we mentioned, but at the same time, a lot of bad things, Sam said, it cannot be matched. So literally, when it comes to good governance, this government has failed us. So I think 2026, based on this analysis, take it to the bank, guys, politicians and other people who are looking to lead this higher office. Take this to the bank and notice that you have a point to sell, in your campaign trails, and also to the other citizens to know what can be done differently to make things better. So I will let my co-host just give their final thoughts, and we can wrap it up. But I think these are some of the things that I captured during our analysis. Thank you, guys. Sam, your final
Yep,
thoughts.
yep. I think even though there's a lot to talk about, but we've talked about a lot also. Between the four of us, Famara, Usman, yourself, and I think we've all talked about different areas that would resonate with the Gambian people, and Gambian people will look at them as, yes, these are facts. So at the end of the day, like I said, without wasting too much time. There's a lot for Gambia to do. This is part of the reason that we're here to sensitize people, so people can understand and not allow anyone to brainwash them into 2026 elections. So people need to understand that when you elect people to do a job and they wasted more of your money than doing the job, you do not need to bring them back in. That's just that simple. And audits are audits. Audits are simple. I've done audits myself. I've done cash audits. I've done inventory audits. So, audits are very simple. A simple way to say an audit to people that don't understand how audits work is it's a simple thing. You give somebody $1,000, right? You tell them to go buy a bag of rice that costs $2,000. They go to buy a bag of rice that costs $2,000. So now they should be left with how much? 800, right? Now you tell them on their way back, buy a gallon of oil, for example, that is 1,000. So that 1,000 also comes out of that 800. How much are you left with? 700. So if they bring the bag of rice and a gallon of oil and bring it to you and did not tender any change back to you, you have the right to ask what happened. Where's all the money? Money is missing. That's not your opinion. Nobody can deny that. No matter how many speakers you can get around the world and bring them to talk about that, the fact is the fact. They gave you 1,000. You spend 2,000 on a bag of rice, 1,000 on a gallon of oil. You should still have $700. If you don't produce that $700 and it's not in your bank account, where is it? It's missing. So that's what an audit report is about. So they talk in the facts based on what the numbers show. So I believe in them thoroughly. And my advice to Gambian people is 2026, think very well. Think back. Look at from 2016 up to now. And then think about what has happened in our country. What happened in our country. And ask yourself, do you need a change? If your answer is yes, go ahead and give your vote to somebody else. Not only for the president, but even the National Assembly members, because we elected them. Same thing. All those elected officials, we need to think about them. We need to analyze their situation. What have they done? And decide whether we need to bring them back in or not. And that's when we make the decision in the 2026 poll. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam, for that final thoughts. Famara.
Yeah, Dr. Sawaneh, 2026 is not going to be easy. President Barrow is very good in tactics because Della Banco Molu, Ekaminje Kalawala, and the president is building new mosques, Ferry Kutol Binakan, I Silol Deda, agriculture with Trakitul Dika. Nilum Feltimini Alonko, Della Mulka Wolle Jebake. Ibeka mini je wolamu reform sul min nyanta kala loi kurun mi yalon ko e monsta kunda e mantra tamakan corruption ni audit report kamin tandi bake mo jamal la faham role bi kata o ma fangol la bake. So President Barrow yalna kaminke and he is doing that very well. And then 2026 campaign abekodomin pompla in the campaign will be unprecedented because right now the man is rich. Hana fangol da ma fangol la kodo fangol da ma kaental. But he has done a lot. We have seen a political bureau lole all the places, and they are brand new offices that are fully equipped. Many are billion, we don't know, and we don't know where they are getting all the resources coming from. 2026, we have seen a new political movement coming through by your own friend, Dr. Sawaneh, your friend Talib, is forming a new political movement, and then Abota Dauda from
Are you guys gonna be part of the movement?
Well, I'm neutral. I don't belong to any political party in the Gambia yet. But of course, if I am in the Gambia, I will definitely vote. But the key to successful coalition lies in the hands of Professor Halifa Saleh and Honorable Dabo. These two people, they hold the key to a successful coalition for 2026. Ye momo Dabo in coalition talk the coalition is not going to go. So whatever Talib difference with his former camp, which is UDP, they need to trust it out. Because without Talib's movement, without UDP, and without Halifa Saleh, the coalition is not going to go nowhere. So Halifa joined at any camp, that camp has more likely, to progress through coalition talks. And of course, we'll be able to convince the people of the Gambia that we need a change. Of course, all this division happening right now, fraction happening in political parties, and then because we have seen a new political party just came in as well, Dr. Gajigo, and then we have also seen some other couple of them. And then, APRC factions, we have seen them, and then we also heard that even some other members from APRC, like Yaya Tamba, is also on the verge of forming a political party. So you see, APRC is going into three. It's also split into three. All right, UDP has now already split it into three because one camp, the first camp went to MPP, and then now we have Talib also moving away from UDP. So still, UDP is still also divided into three, but still they have a very good grassroots. I think the way Talib came out was not expected. You know, obviously, and the formation of the new formation, this movement was not expected at all. But at the end of the day, if they all come together, forget about the differences, and then form a coalition, you know, based on principles, based on past experience, with a clear guidelines, you know, then obviously they will be successful. Because the youth now, I know this is going to affect even President Barrow's NPP. The youth coming to the movement, some of them might be affected by the president's, voter turnout in the last elections. So, but right now, I think right now the opposition need to put their house in order. If not, I don't see any chances for them. And then putting their houses in order, they cannot forget Halifa, they cannot forget Dabo, because without them as well, the coalition will be in a problem. And then let them not go into coalition talk thinking that if Dabo is there, it's not a winnable candidate. Because if they go with that mindset, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then, of course, Dabo, you can like him or hate him. So far, we have not seen him involved in corruption scandals. None of the auditor reports have implicated him. During his time as a vice president and the foreign minister, we have not seen anywhere where he is implicated in corruption scandals or audit reports. We have not seen that. Halifa Sana, we can say that we have not tested him to be in the government, but with his track history, we all know that the man has integrity, the man is very honest, and then we believe that when he's given a chance to head the coalition, he will definitely deliver, especially with the reforms that are still left to be done. Halifa will do them, no doubt about that. He's a tested person that we all know that he doesn't go into corruption issues. He has a high integrity for that. you know and then obviously he has the maturity and the professionalism. He has been in this field for quite a long time. So these two people, if we talk about system change, we cannot leave Halifa behind because he's the mastermind of system change, and we still have not had all his plans to make system change. So we need him whether as a flag bearer or as a vice president, but we need him in the system. And then Dabo has an experience too, and then he is able to convince the international communities. And we have seen when he was a foreign minister how much they were able to lobby for the Gambia at the round table donor conference. And then they still, and then of course his history in the fight for justice in the dictatorship, and for the fact that he's not corrupt, and his knowledge and experience. Yes, we can talk about he has tried 5 times, he did not win, or we can say he's old, but the man is still brilliant. He has the knowledge, he has the experience, and then he is going to be tough on corruption. And no wonder a lot of people are afraid that when he comes, they are not going to enjoy, or there is going to be this and that, because they know what he stands for. So Halifa and Dabo hold the key. I think people like Talib, we need to test them to be a local government minister and see how much he is going to deliver. Isa Fall will be a very good justice minister in this 5 years that we are going into. I'm sure he will do the necessary reforms, and then we give one term to Halifa and Dabo. If one of them become a flag bearer, they only serve one term. And this younger generation will take up from 2031. By that time, we have already tested them with a ministerial position. We know who can deliver what. You understand? So I think the younger generation, 2026, is not for them. It is for Dabo and Halifa. And I'll ask Dabo to give chance to Halifa if I will get him to come in. Dabo should give chance to Halifa. Let Halifa lead. He can be a prime minister. He can be a vice president or whatever he is going to hold in the government. But I think we need to test Halifa as well before he retired. because that system change, we want to see it happen. And with Dabo's influence against corruption and then fighting injustice, I think he will also help Khalifa in terms of delivering what needs to be done for us to have. These younger ones, we have to test them before we give them, we shoot them straight away from mayorship or from where nowhere to the office of the president. We still have to test them. And then obviously some of them are sitting in the commissions right now. We don't know what the outcome of the commissions are going to be. So the people, those two old folks needs to be tested, and then they hold the key to successful coalition. We wish them all the best of luck. Otherwise, Barrow, when he comes back again, he is also going to be tough on whatever he's left, but it's not good for his legacy running for third term, considering the fact that we bring him 2026 to make a change. And that change, he promised 3 years, and the 3 years, 5 years, 5 years to 10 years, and he wants to go to 15. It might not good for his legacy. Thank you so much. That's what I have for you for closing remarks.
Thank you, buddy. I wish your wishes can come true. And good luck for those wishes. Because you mentioned two tough people, Dabo and then Khalifa.
Yeah.
Those people don't see too much eye to eye. But good luck on that that hopeful thinking, and see maybe a coalition can happen among them as a
Yeah, if we see the national interest first, those two old men before they retire, we need to get into the system. And Khalifa has a very good chance of that, you know. And he and Dabo, they have a lot of respect for each other. You hardly see Khalifa call out Dabo. You hardly see Dabo call out Khalifa. So I think if these young politicians want to learn, they should ask these two people to go and sit, two of them, and decide what 2026 is going to be look like. And they come out and tell the younger ones, Mama Kande, we give him a ministerial position. Issa Fall, a ministerial position. Talib Bensouda, a ministerial position. And all the other opposition candidates, we test them all and see how they're going to deliver within 5 years, whether they will bring any reforms in their institutions. Then now these two guys will be the leaders on top, watching over them, because they know if any minister mess up, they are going to fire you or hold you accountable. Khalifa is not going to compromise for that, and Dabo will not compromise for that. So, and where all those monies were spent, Issa Fall will bring them all out. All those reforms that were pending, Issa Fall will bring them all out and hold them accountable. Even if he is going to head another commission, Issa Fall will be prepared to do so. But he will make sure every corruption, every money that was illegally spent or missing will all be bring back. And then now we prepare him for 3031 with Talib. Now they can decide who is going to be their leader in 3031. But 2026, we need those experienced folks to come in. Where we got it all wrong, they bring it all back.
Very good, very good, very good analysis. Thank you, guys. Sam, I'm pretty sure this last one that Famara gave us, we gotta be thinking about that for a long time.
I kind of agree with him because, in fact, in my mind, since 2016, I wanted Khalifa Saleh to be the flag bearer. 2016, Khalifa would have been should have been the flag bearer. That's what I thought would happen, but didn't happen, because I knew I have a lot of trust and faith in him. I think he would make a big difference if he were elected flag bearer. All the mandates that they had, or all the MOUs that they had written, I think he would have executed them according to plan. He would have done that, yeah, without a doubt. So I trust him. Yeah.
What about Dabo?
Dabo too. I mean, like Famara said, I agree. I mean, he's a very well respected and experienced person who is not going to take nonsense. He's been a lawyer, so he's going to fight corruption. He's going to fight the bad guys. He's going to make sure that truth prevails. Yeah.
The only thing is, the winning part. How would they win? These are good people, great people who can really make reforms, agenda possible, but to the vehicle to take them to the state house. That is what is the question here. But
it's coalition. If they can all agree to go into coalition.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's that vehicle that to make that possible.
Yeah. That'd be the key to it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you.
See you all, and good seeing you.
Definitely. Take care and welcome back, Famara. Thank you all.
Famara, welcome back. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care, our viewers. Good analysis. Take care.